Today we're talking about Asics' new trail running shoe, the Gel-Trabuco version 10. And what better place to talk about a new trail shoe than here in Cape Town, the Table Mountain Trails. It's a great place to test a new shoe. The Gel-Trabuco is Asics' oldest trail franchise, now on its 10th model. And the franchise has made some big leaps from earlier models. Back when it was version 7, it was a clunky and rigid shoe. It weighed in an astonishing 360 grams. No wonder why people turned to minimal shoes. Version 8 was a big step forward, but it still had some problems with the lace enclosures being too sharp and digging into its upper, and it was still heavy. It was 340 grams. But by version 9, the model had been reinvented from top to bottom. It had lost 40 grams, weighing in at 304 grams. It had a soft midsole, nice flex to it. It had a grip pattern that was accommodating on various surfaces, and it was really the brand's starting point to a great, well-cushioned technical off-roader. Version 10, which is what I have here, makes minor changes to version 9, the great success we had on version 9. The first change has to do with the upper. They've gone with a softer mesh upper, something similar to what was found on the Asics Trabuco Max, which was this shoe's big brother. It was the rival to the Hoka Speed Goat. So first change being the upper, it's a bit softer, more like a road shoe. Then up front here, in terms of the toe guard, we've got a less pronounced toe guard than what we had on version 9. Version 9 was arguably a bit too well developed. Version 10 has essentially got laminating on top of it, so it's maybe less pronounced but a little bit more sort of flexible with movement, and certainly protective enough to do the trek off-road. Then we still have this lace garage, which is one of my favorite terms in terms of running shoes. It tucks or stows away your laces, and the nice thing with Asics' logo is that it's got quite a big structure, so it gives some sort of security and protective features to it. They've also changed the heel to the shoe. I don't find that this has affected its performance much. And then in terms of the midsole, we've still got that flight foam compound that we have on the previous model. I do find the new model to be slightly softer underfoot. I know they've been playing with the density of flight foam on some other models, so generally the range has become a bit softer. They haven't added Flight Foam Blast or Blast Plus like we've seen on the road shoes, but it certainly suffices when you do need a slightly firmer or more rigid and resilient compound on the trails. Inside the shoe, we've got a hidden gel pod like we had on version 9. We've also got a rock protection plate. It's just a 4-foot plate to give you that extra bit of protection as you land on sharp rocks. Again, it's just on the 4-foot. On the medial side of the shoe, we still have a Duomax structure, which is a dual compound or dual density midsole. What it does is it provides a firmer framework around the arch so that it resists compression more and resists pronation. So it's a shoe suitable for someone looking for a stability equivalent of what you'd have on the road in terms of Kayanos or GTs. We know about 25% of road shoes are stability shoes, so this is one of the few off-roaders that does have a stability structure. I must say it's a very mild structure. It's less invasive than a lot of other road stability shoes, so as a neutral runner myself, I can definitely get away with it. In terms of the trail, the outsole structure, it's identical to the previous model. It's versatile across a wide range of surfaces, and it does an alright job on road as well. It is got a 5mm lug structure, which is fairly grippy and it can dig into things, but it's not overexposed, so probably not most suitable for wet and muddy conditions, but certainly does a great job on dry terrain. And again, it's a nice crossover for road. So this is only run number 2 in the shoe. I am going to save a more in-depth review later on, so I can only share my initial impressions so far. So far, the shoe goes highly recommended. It is a nice update from the previous model. It only tweaks some features, but last model was highly successful. It has progressed the Trabuco franchise from what I considered a more rigid, almost a hiking trail running hybrid together to what we have as a more technical off-roader. It is a well-cushioned shoe. Personally, I don't really find room for it in my training. I look for something a little bit more agile, a little bit closer to the ground and lighter. But most people are playing in the more well-cushioned shoe category. It's going to be a great equivalent for some of the more well-cushioned road shoes that Asics have in their lineup that most people have been looking for on the trail. It's suitable for a wide array of trail running. Again, as I said, it's not suitable for your more speedy stuff, which is where I play for, but as I said, most runners do look for something that can do a bit of everything. It's bulletproof, it's durable, and it's comfortable, and it's got a nice transition on foot. Obviously, this Duomax is a great selling point. Very few trail shoes have extra arch support. The stability structure I'd consider almost like training wheels to the shoe. Sort of it's out the way when you don't need it, but there when you do. So it's a great selling point. And then this outsole does a great job in accommodating for various types of running. In terms of sizing, the shoe fits true to size. I do have to go half size down in most of my Asics trail running shoes, but this is preferential as I prefer a more snug fit, just so I'm more in control of my movements, like most runners do in a trail shoe, but for the most part it fits true to size. Thanks for watching this initial impressions video. Stay tuned for the full review and we'll chat shortly. Cheers.